Hey there, Heather Boyd Wire here.
Today I'm making a coiled wire bead and leather bracelet using the artistic wire Coiling Gizmo. I have 22 and 20 gauge multicolor wire and 18 gauge copper and gold color artistic wire. We are going to need some flush cutters, flat pliers, round pliers, and the bail making pliers from Beadalon. And I'm using 3mm leather cord. So we'll start with a small roll of the 22 gauge artistic wire, and we're going to attach it to the coiling gizmo on the smallest size rod, and we are going to wind it into a coil. So keep turning the rod until you measure about 3 inches of coil. So now we will remove it by clipping off one end and then remove the other end from the handle of the rod, and then we're going to slide it off and clip the end flush. So from there we are going to take the 3mm coiling rod and we'll take about 10 inches of the 18 gauge artistic wire, and we are going to coil it about 3 times, and then we will slide on our coil. This red coil was actually made with 24 gauge wire, so it's a bit finer. So now we are going to turn the handle of the rod and coil that coil. So go slowly, just feed the coil around, holding it firmly. Hold the end with your finger to push it down until we've used up all of the coil. And then we need to wind it around about 3 times with just the 18 gauge wire. So this forms our bead, and now we're going to clip either end. So we have the cylinder with the coil on top. So here are the coils made with 20, 22, and 24 gauge wire, and we will take our 10 inches of 3mm leather cord and slide on our first bead. We're going to center that one, just make sure it's right in the middle, and then we have to pinch in the coil so it won't slide. So just take our flat nose pliers. These are the tweezer nose pliers from Xuron, and we're going to pinch in the wires on either side of the coil so it stays centered on the leather cord. Now we'll add another bead. I'm just doing a little variety of beads. You can make them all the same or different. Measure about the same amount of leather between each bead. I did about 3/4 of an inch, and pinch the ends of the wire to hold that bead in place. Just go in there with the tweezer nose pliers, give it a little pinch, and we're going to fill up the whole bracelet with our coiled beads. Now we have to make the spring ends, so I'm going to take that 3mm rod from the coiling gizmo and wind a 18-inch piece of wire around about 4 times. So we'll just make that coil, remove it from the rod, and then take our fine round nose pliers to center the wire on one end. Just bring the wire across the middle of the coil, and then get our Beadalon bail making pliers to form a loop. And we're going to push it over to center it on that spring. Now we'll clip the end flush with our Xuron flush cutters and pinch it in place so there's no pokey ends and that loop is centered. Just do any little adjustments you need. So we make sure the end is clipped flush, and then put it on the end of the leather and pinch the end into the leather. You can also add a dab of crazy glue to make it even more secure, but we'll just pinch it right in to the leather so it holds in place. I made my bracelet a little small because I have very small wrists. You can measure it to the length that you want. So once we have the spring ends on, then we're going to have to make our clasp. So I'm making a matching clasp with the 18 gauge artistic wire, and we'll start with the loop. So we're going to do a little round form to make the loop, and then take the smallest part of the bail making pliers to do another loop, and then clip it flush, pinch in that pokey end, and then we'll do another loop right underneath the first loop. So we have two little loops, one stacked on top of the other, and we will clip that flush. So pinch in those ends, make sure they're centered one over the other. And now we're going to make a hook. So we'll just make a little loop and then make a larger hook around the bail making pliers, and then we'll get our smaller round nose pliers to do a tiny little loop to finish the wire. Give it a little clip with the flush cutters, and then we're going to pinch it in so it's not scratchy, and then we have our set, and we'll just make a couple of jump rings to attach the clasp. Put the jump ring through both of those loops on one and close it up. So that's the hoop end, and then on the other end we'll get another jump ring, open it up, pop it on the spring, and add your hook. And close that up. Make sure it's firmly in place. And we have the hook and the loop. We'll just hook them together, close it up, and there we have our super funky leather bracelet with the coiled beads. So thanks so much for watching the video. Give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for lots more wire art and jewelry making videos. And if you'd like to share photos of your wire art and jewelry, be sure to join the Wire Makers Club on Facebook. And if you'd like to check out my work on Etsy, my husband and I specialize in custom wedding cake toppers and funky jewelry. I also have a mailing list, so if you'd like to sign up below, I'll send you my Wire Art Essentials ebook. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you the next time.